Good morning and welcome to this video where I'm going to go and run through everything that I have carried on this trip. I've had a few people ask for me to go through exactly what's in every single bag. So I'm going to do it to the extent of where I'm at with stuff now. So please bear in mind that there is going to be some things missing because I've eaten them or I've drunk them. But I'm going to go through it with you so you're aware of the kind of stuff that I've taken on this trip. Now, for reference, what I've done is I've ridden for 4 days bikepacking across the Canary Islands, starting in Lanzarote, then Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, and Tenerife. I've also done a few little rides here and there around that, but also basically during this time I've been staying in hotels. So I haven't really taken much sleeping equipment stuff, more kind of emergency things like an emergency bivvy in case I need it, worst case scenario. So I haven't got a lot of sleeping stuff, but I've got a lot of stuff still. I've also taken a lot more than I would normally take on a trip because I've been doing it quite leisurely. If I wasn't doing it so leisurely, there's a lot of things that I probably wouldn't bother taking, but I'm just going to run through everything I have this time on this trip right now. Start the bike. This is an Argon 18 Krypton Pro in a size medium with a Dura-Ace Di2 12-speed group set. In terms of the group set itself, I'm running 52-36 on the front and then an 11-34 on the rear. I cannot fault how good electronic shifting is for bikepacking trips. It just works flawlessly. I've never been concerned about having to charge it. I always take a charger in case I need to charge it. The shifters are basically wireless, but they have like a coin cell battery in them. These batteries last for ages, and you can set up your Garmin bike computer that gives you a notification to tell you how much battery is left in the group set itself. So just take a charger, take spares, but I've never had an issue with it, and I personally love it for bikepacking stuff. For me as well, because I have quite bad nerve damage in my left hand, I really struggle with mechanical shifting. It's that motion is what I struggle with. So the Di2 shifting, because it is just touching like that, works so much better for me personally. Crankset I'm riding is Dura-Ace 170 crankset. As I said, it's 52-36, so semi-compact setup. I think in terms of gear ratios and what I was carrying on the bike, it was perfect. Of course, you could always go to a compact setup if you want, but with the 34 on the back, I found this worked really, really well actually. The tyres on the bike are Schwalbe Pro 1 tyres. These are a 35mm tyre, so quite chunky tyres, but there's plenty of clearance on this bike to fit up to 40mm on there if you wanted to. 35mm, big tyre, fits really nicely on these rims, and they have lasted really well actually. The rear ones always get a bit more worn just because there's so much more weight on the back of the bike, but they look pretty good. If I'm honest, you still got the little bits on them. The Pro 1 is Schwalbe's faster rolling resistance tyre. The punch protection is maybe not as good as say the Schwalbe 1, but this is a road event and the roads in the Canary Islands are incredible. So made complete sense to stick with the Pro 1 tyres I already had on the bike. The wheels are Enve SES 4.5 wheels with Chris King hubs. I'm pretty certain that Chris King hubs are the best hubs I've ever used. They ride amazing. They're not the lightest hubs in the world, but my God, they ride so well. They feel fantastic to ride, and they just seem to just keep going whatever you do with them. They're basically indestructible. There's guys at the Saddleback headquarters that have got like sets of Chris King hubs that they've used all winter, and they're like incredibly old and battered, and they take them apart and they're fine. The 4.5 rims are quite a deep rim. I'll admit at certain points when the wind speed was 35 to 45 kilometers an hour and a crosswind, it was a bit sketchy at points. But in all honesty, I think whatever rim depth you rode, judging by the discussions I had with several different people on the event, it felt sketchy for everyone. Really, for a wheel of that depth, they handled incredibly well, much better than I thought they would. And I thought I was going to get absolutely battered in those crosswinds and stuff, but it was more of a case of just holding it steady and, you know, keeping a strong circle around your body and kind of got on with it. but the wheels themselves, they hold speed incredibly well. They make a fantastic noise, and they look great in my opinion with the white logos especially. Finishing kit is all from Enve as well. It's their inline seat post and the aero stem and the AR bar. I think, I'm happy to say now, these are probably the best handlebars I've ever used. Not just, I did really like the Sabello bars, I like the shape of them, but in terms of comfort, these are the winners. I like the fact they're slightly wider on the top, but there's a really nice level of sort of flex and vibration management in the drops, and the shape of the drops is really lovely. They are slightly flared, not crazy flared, but they have a slight flare on them as well, which I think personally feels great when you're on the drops and sort of descending along. Now, how the bike is set up is the 120 aero stem, 40 centimeter handlebars, and then the inline seat post. That's what works for me for my bike fit. Of course, everyone is completely different. I've got 15mm spacers underneath the stem, and yeah, and basically how the cabling is done is it runs into the top cap, which you can see there. At the moment, Argon only offer a 0mm top cap and a 25mm top cap, so I'm bang in the middle of the two. They do this with their 3D Plus system, which effectively alters the stiffness profile of the front end of the bike by adjusting where the headset bearing sits, and it can create a more integrated front end. I believe they are potentially looking at offering a 15mm option as well, which would be perfect for me. Their previous bikes that they have done a 15mm version, but currently they only do the current generation Krypton and Krypton Pro with the 0mm version and the 25mm version. The good thing about this is it offers a variety of different fit options, but for me, I would love them to do something that sits in the middle. Fingers crossed on that one. Bottle cages are from Enve as well. The inside here, I've put in, oh God, it's got some sticky stuff on it. Inside here is the Argon 18 tool bag, which basically has inside it 2 inner tubes, Schwalbe Aerodan tubes, a wolf tooth tool for a chain braking tool, a CO2 canister, some dyno plugs, a dyno plug itself, and some tyre levers. So not a huge amount in there, but enough sort of stuff to sort of keep me going. The front light that I'm using is an Exposure Strada SB. I've had this one for a while, and it's quite cool now having the support from Exposure, but this is one that I bought years ago. It's quite expensive, but it lasts forever, and the quality of their products is absolutely fantastic. Garmin 1040 solar bike computer is what I've been using. And then this is Tailfin's top tube bag, which is bolted onto the frame and is literally full of gels. For example, the new Gel 50 from Styrkr. But basically, I have quite a few left because I took tons of gels. And these new Gel 50s, they're really, really good. Taste fantastic. 50 grams of carb per gel. Really like those ones. The new flavours, in my opinion, are nicer than the old flavours as well. Now, bottles, I've been using 2 750 bottles, big bottles, carry as much water as you can. I've just got a little Schwalbe SOS pump here. It's pretty good. As I say, it's for emergencies. Saddle, Gebio My Sleek. This is what seems to work best for me, and it's what we've been using for all of my bikes now for probably about a year. And then tucked in under here is one of the Apertura little musette bags. This is the mounting system for the Tailfin Aero Pack, which goes through the through axle. It's basically its own axle, and you clip on here and there. Now the frame pack. So this is a very old now, well-used prototype Tailfin R&D division frame bag. They will be coming soon. I feel like I've been saying that for a while, but they will be coming soon. Now in here I've got some Styrkr salt tablets. I've not got many left of these, but these are fantastic. 1,000 milligrams of salt per tablet, and I actually really like the mild citrus flavour. There is another flavour as well, but this is the one I like. This is a little neck, like chest thing from Le Col, which you put under your jersey when you're descending to try and keep the wind off your chest a bit. It's just easy to grab, quite easy to get hold of. Then there's a battery pack in here. I had to buy a new one because I left my old one at home. Just a Belkin one with, how many muhas are you? I think this is a 10,000 muha battery pack, but it's nice and slim. USB-C, 2 USBs on it. I haven't actually charged it for the whole event, so I don't know how much juice is in it. My passport, some lip balm stuff from Life Jacket. This is like for very good, like 50 SPF, so very good for protecting your face, ears, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like a little balmy thing. And then a little rag just to clean the chain if I need to, and a very, very tiny first aid kit. Super convenient. This was given away at an event and it's pretty perfect actually. So that's what's on that side. In terms of what else was in here was like Styrkr bars, but I had definitely eaten all of those bars. And yeah, sunscreen as well, just normal sunscreen, just so it's easy to access. Now on the rear side of this frame bag, there's basically in here a bunch of additional salt tablets, which just quick easy tablets you pop in. My mini Leatherman, which I've had for years, great little tool, and my granddad's penknife, also really useful to have. There also happens to be one Cold Dark North magnet, which I will stick somewhere, and a cloth for cleaning the sunglasses. Oh, last but not least, my ride mascot, a little camel. Now, the other things that were in here was, so Matteo, the race organizer, who you'd have seen in an earlier video, he prints off like a guide of all the ferry timetables. That was in there, I've thrown it away since, but it has all of the times for the ferries throughout the day, effectively. Now, to go on to what's in my Aero Pack. This Aero Pack is like the first Tailfin product that I ever really used. I've had this particular one for 4 years, or maybe 5 years nearly. There's a few bits that I've changed on it over time, where things just get a bit worn out, that kind of stuff. But what's so good about it as a product is that everything can be removed and adjusted and taken off and changed and replaced. So it's fantastic in that sense. I will admit, Tailfin product ranges are expensive, but you really do pay for something that lasts a long time and is fantastic quality. But we'll stop talking about that and tell you what's inside it. So inside here, so at the moment in here is a Lacole rain jacket, a Lacole gilet. I've actually bought this years ago. It's like a reflective one. I thought it was really good for bike packing. Some Lacole winter gloves, you never know. Some toe covers, some shoe covers, like quite thin but waterproof ones. Leg warmers, Lacole arm warmers, an emergency bivvy, because you never know, a spare exposure Diablo head torch, and this tiny little tool from Styrkr, which is like this is basically a torque wrench, miniature torque wrench thing. It's fantastic. You also have in these Aero packs, you have these like side pockets, and in here I've got some wipes from Dynamic Bike Care just to wipe off the chain and stuff if I need to, a Schwalbe Aerodan inner tube tucked in there, spare brake pads, some little chain lube, and a really very lovely little Styrkr multi-tool. Oh, and some tyre levers. So what that bag is like secondary spares and stuff that I quite easily want to get hold of, but I don't tend to touch that side pocket that much. Exposure rear light, an exposure blaze rear light mounted onto the rear of the Aero Pack. My off-bike shoes, which are these Vivo barefoot ones, go inside there. A down jacket, which goes inside there. A spare set of bibs. always take 2 sets of bibs on bikepacking trips. There's a spare set of bibs, so I always have 2 sets of bibs on me, so I can rotate them. So one of the sets of bibs will be in the Tailfin aero pack, one I'll be wearing, and generally kit-wise, bibs, jersey, base layer, socks, gloves. That's how I kind of roll. What else is in there? An assortment of different cables, which I just store in this little bag. It's basically USB-Cs, USB-C cables, a multi-plug like this, which allows you to put loads of USBs in the top and has a USB-C point on the side of it, and a traditional plug at the front, and basically then a assortment of cables to make sure I can charge everything. So Di2 charger, exposure lights charger, USB-Cs which charge this camera, Garmin, an iPhone cable, that kind of stuff. And then additional things that were in there was things like this. I had loads of these. The Styrkr Mix 90. I'm now down to my last one, which I'm saving for my ride today. And toiletries. So in terms of toiletries, what I tend to take, I'll show you. Some deodorant, because you don't want to smell bad. Little toothpaste. Razor, which I actually haven't used, so just carried it for the sake of it. Toothbrush. This is a manual one, not an electric one. Normally I would take an electric one. Some chamois cream, Styrkr's one, really like this. It's what I seem to be using the most now. So they actually call it a multi-sport anti-friction cream, which is chamois cream, but means you can use it for other stuff. This is basically a couple of like Nurofen tablets, some Pro Plus in case I need them. It's like a tiny little bag of painkillers and things like that in case I need it. Sunscreen, and that's it in there. And then the last thing that I carry is the clothes that I'm wearing, which is nothing particularly fancy. It's just basically sportswear. So this is like a lightweight sort of running top and a pair of lightweight like running shorts and a pair of boxer shorts. All lightweight clothing, basically just so that I've got clothes to wear with my off-bike shoes when I'm off-bike, like now. And that's basically everything I've got on the bike, which sounds like a lot of stuff, but in reality it's not too much. There's a lot of things there that I probably wouldn't normally take, but equally I think that's quite an efficient pack list, to be honest with you. But yeah, hopefully that was somewhat useful for you. If you have any questions about all the stuff that I've taken, please just drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching. See you for the next one. One last thing I haven't mentioned that I've taken is what I'm actually wearing while on the bike. So I'm using Lacoste's like cargo bibs. Been really impressed with them. The pockets are quite deep, so they actually hold quite a lot of stuff actually. And then one of their just like lightweight mesh base layers, and then one of the Pro jerseys. I've been super impressed with the kit, to be honest with you. It's really comfortable and it looks really smart. Then sunglasses, I'm using some Sungod Vulcans, which is these big boys. Now the lenses in these are the ones that tint, so they react to the sun, get darker, etc, etc. And I'm a huge believer that in any kind of bike packing event, using sunglasses like that is great if you want to ride in the night time, for example, so you can still wear them and you're not going to get dust in your eyes. The helmet is this, which is a Lazer Z1, the new Z1 Kinetical. Really like it. Super comfortable, kind of aero-y. I just think it looks really smart. This one's in grey. They're doing quite a few different colours, but yeah, really like it. Super impressed with that one. Gloves, I'm using a Lacoste's padded gloves. I always worry about gloves, whether there's going to be enough padding for my mucked up hands, but these have been fantastic. Really impressed. And then just a Garmin heart rate strap. Normally I don't wear a heart rate strap, so it's kind of weird to wear one actually. But yeah, that actually is everything. So I'm going to go now.